I tried to follow step by step. I'm like, man, this shit still don't work. So whenever someone wanted to buy anything, they would send me, and if it didn't work, they would send me an email, and I would have to do it manually.
Yeah.
Yes. By the end, you're like, this, it's not really worth my time.
This. Back at you with another episode coming at you from ChooseYourRelationships.com. Offer of Love Can't Wait, which can be found on Amazon.com. So I just finished doing the interview with BC Flyers 2016, better known as Corey and Brad. They actually was on the podcast before. I had them on about 2 years ago. They're actually the first. This is their second time being on the podcast, and they're the first couple, or just first people in general, that came back for a second show. So, hopefully you enjoy it. I had a good time having them on. And I really like talking to them, So, we were talking about open relationships and what it's like, and is it, it could be an option for you, and how their relationship have evolved over what, 27 years, if I'm not mistaken. That's how long they've been together. So, hopefully you like it. Like, share this episode. Leave me a review on iTunes. See you on the other side.
We did. We traveled all across the UK and Ireland.
So how was that?
We had a fantastic time.
Hey, you're fine now. You're fine now.
Okay.
So what was the question?
Yeah, how was Europe?
Oh, we had a ball. We flew in and we got a rental car and we drove 2,200 miles all across the UK. And flew over to Ireland. Spent 3 days driving all over it. So we got to see lots of sights.
Did y'all see anybody that knew y'all out in public?
Did we see anybody in Europe that knew us?
I don't know that we saw anybody in Europe that knew us. I mean, we met some fans there, so that way we did. Yeah. So a bit like that, but it was more we went and saw them than.
Oh, okay, gotcha. But I'm talking about like fans, people that might have seen you on Twitter.
I don't know in the UK if we did.
As in they recognized us, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Does it happen here in America?
No, it happens a lot in the US.
Yeah. Isn't that's the coolest thing and the weirdest thing to me?
Yeah.
It is. It's pretty neat. A lot of people are they won't say anything though. They just you see that they're like I think I know you.
Corey would be like, I think they know us because they kept looking and they just look back and then we'll get a message when we get home or a few messages. And we went to Vegas, and I don't know if we had talked about this. We had an Asian girlfriend for a while. I don't know if we talked to you before or after that, but we went to Vegas and had a great time. But we probably had half a dozen people while we were sitting out at lunch or at evening having drinks and go, hey, are you guys BC Flyers? And it got to the point it actually pissed a girlfriend off. She was like, "Why do all these people know you?" I mean, she knew what we did, but she was like, "Why do they all know you?" And it kind of started a little challenge, a little jealous. She's like, "I want my own OnlyFans. I want to be more popular. I want people to recognize me." And we're like, "Okay, well, we don't care." But That was probably the most demonstrative that's ever been.
Yeah, I don't know what happened that weekend, but it just seemed like everybody
Everywhere
was
we went.
being together. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when I lived in Atlanta, it used to happen a lot. Cause and the thing, when I lived in Atlanta, you know, I had the same channel that I have now, the dating and travel channel. I had that for like, Jesus Christ, how long has it been? I started in 2014, and I had a video that went over 1 million views at the time, and I didn't know it. I didn't know it until people started calling my phone, people that knew me, right? And they said, "Hey, I saw that video." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
So I'm curious what that particular video is about.
Oh, it was about just marriage in general.
Yeah.
How when you get married, you merging two families together, and some of the things that come along with that. That's basically what the video was all about. You know?
Yeah.
And when that video went viral, well, somebody told me about it, and then I came online and I logged in my account, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
What were y'all doing when I was sleeping?
And then that's when I started to walk out. I started going out in public, and like downtown Atlanta, and people started noticing me. I was like, "This is the weirdest shit." Yeah. People will walk up to you and act like they know you. I'm like, that was crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
I need to read your book.
Well, some people, yeah, that made people want to buy more of my stuff. And something else that was crazy too. At the time, I had a digital product, right? But I didn't have it set up right. You know, so when someone tried to buy it, they couldn't buy it. The whole process and, you know, checking out process, I didn't have it set up right. So I had a guy call me one day and say, hey, I'm trying to buy your shit, but I can't buy it.
I don't think people know how much work goes into all of this.
Yeah.
And we call it all the time our second job, and people think we're funny, haha, because you're getting to have sex. No, it's fucking a second job. It's so much editing and so much marketing and communicating. And yeah, we set up our own website for a while. And while we like the freedom, it's so much work to keep up with all that back end.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Because at the time, I couldn't find nobody to set it up right.
Yeah.
Like, so I went on Fiverr, I went on Upwork. Mm-hmm. I couldn't get anybody to set the shit up right. So I tried to follow step by step. I'm like, man, this shit still don't work. So whenever someone wanted to buy anything, they would send me, and if it didn't work, they would send me an email, and I would have to do it manually.
Yeah.
Yes. By the end, you're like, this, it's not really worth my time.
That was great. So I finally got it right last year. And the only reason that happened is because I went to a conference, and there was a guy that I'd known for a long time, and I was telling him the same story I'm telling y'all, and he was like, "Oh, I'll show you how to do it. Let's go upstairs to your room right now. We'll do it. I'll do it for you." And he said he had the same problem. So I was like, "Oh, okay, it wasn't just me then."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not my strong point for sure.
No, not. I'm okay, but I would much prefer not focusing on the technical aspects of things, you know.
Oh, me too.
We just finally got a video editor, and that has made so much different. This person's put out in 3 weeks stuff we've had a year and a half, 2 years haven't put out, that we just don't have time to cut. and this person does it and they do it well and they do it quick, and we're like, oh my
goodness,
we were drowning.
It's so much better. He can combine all the different angles and make the sound match and the lighting and all the things that we were never able to do. So this is we're really excited about that. For sure.
Yeah. So what's up with OnlyFans? 'Cause I heard you saying OnlyFans they're strict and
Yeah, OnlyFans has been for a while. They got hit pretty hard. It wasn't them. Pornhub got hit really hard. Got MasterCard in trouble, basically. A couple of years ago. They had so much child porn on there that the government started cracking down on payment processors for kiddie porn.
Oh, damn.
So MasterCard came out with some really stringent rules for what could and could, what you had to do to verify that the video was a consenting legal-aged adult. And around the same time, we know the credit card processor and the person part of that OnlyFans account because we had to set them up and we set ours up. And they hired a new CEO at OnlyFans, or the owner appointed a new CEO, and they had different visions. The new CEO really wanted to go mainstream, more pop stars, Disney stars, make it more of a, your fans can interact with you directly there. But it was built on porn. It grew into a several billion-dollar industry on porn, and he wanted to go away from porn. And the old CEO was like, porn made us money. So they really started cracking down on content creators to the point we left. We never turned it off. We just stopped participating there, built our own site, because every video we upload, they would reject. They've got these forms you have to fill out, which there are forms. If you don't know this, if you're doing any content creation, and we talk about this a lot because it's a big deal and people don't know it. If you are going to have anybody besides yourself in the video, you are federally required to get a copy of their driver's license or passport, verify their name, their age, their address, a picture of them holding that ID proving that it's them, a signed consent form saying of their age, their location, their address, they consent to the production of the video. It's federally required. Well, OnlyFans took it a step further and said, not only do you have to do that, you have to sign our form too, and our form has to be signed in ink. So we were having to email all this shit in. And then they were so critical, they would go, a person holding their driver's license, it's them. But OnlyFans was saying, but they didn't sign the document with the same signature they signed their driver's license, so they were rejecting everything.
Damn.
Who the hell keeps a signature? I've signed my name 5 different ways in the last 10 years. But they were rejecting for things like that. So they've really eased up.
We had a 10-person gangbang, and all these guys, we did all this paperwork beforehand, got it all done, and they were all rejected because either the picture of holding their license or something wasn't good enough, or the signature didn't match. In the end, we had who we could resubmit, and only one person
out of 10 people, one passed.
So.
Damn.
And they all turned all the information in. So we did exactly what we were supposed to do, but their reject rate was so high.
It was. I think it's gotten a little better. They have a little better system now, but they're still they're very controlled by that MasterCard drama.
Well, you're not allowed to post anything outdoors.
Yes.
Corey flashes everywhere. We have a hard time keeping clothes on her. So we have a lot of public posts of what outdoors, but you can't put those there.
Yeah, I thought with OnlyFans, I thought you could do anything. The way people were talking.
That's the way it started, but after the crackdown from Pornhub actually got taken offline, is my understanding, and maybe even went through some judiciary reviews, like, Congress was saying, hey, enough's enough. And MasterCard really cracked down after that on payment processing.
Yeah. They also have other restrictive rules, like nothing with any firearms, which I know may sound odd to some people in this day and age, but we did a really hot naked shootout at the gun range. Oh shit! It was great. But they got rejected and taken down. I was like, yeah. It was fun. There was a grassy knoll we just happened to be behind, and we were like, hey.
We don't call that a grassy knoll. That's what you shoot Kennedy from. We call that a berm.
Oh, there was a berm.
Yeah. I thought, because OnlyFans, they really blew up fast.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, they were. I'm trying to remember what their revenue was.
I don't know, but when they
Their
went
revenue. Go ahead.
to say, what was that last year when they made those changes and everybody jumped ship? Do you remember the numbers? Their revenue dropped like.
Oh, it's massive.
Yeah.
I know. We went to Fansly, and I talked to the credit card processor that was setting our account up, was also handling Fansly. They were signing up 4,000 members a day when OnlyFans announced they were going to restrict porn. I was just looking it up. OnlyFans did $4.8 billion last year.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. So how do y'all come up with the concepts of videos? I mean, is it going to be a threesome this time, or gangbang, or just regular, just you and her, or how y'all come up with the concepts, the ideas?
Truly, most of our stuff is just us being us, and I don't know if we got into this history last time. Of course, you could take most of this history, but you can tell them kind of how we got into it. But it's just us being us.
Life just kind of unfolds as it will. So I don't know. And also, Brad's a big idea guy, so he always has good ideas. And I'm like, yeah, good idea. Let's do it. But how we got started in it, that's a whole nother, I guess.
Well, but we got started with photos way back in the, it was before Tumblr. No, it was Tumblr. Way back when Tumblr had porn. So we started way back when Tumblr would allow you to post some stuff, and Corey was always very, very bashful, very shy, and eventually I took some photos, and she was like, "Oh, nobody want to see those," and she kind of went back and forth. You can post them. No, never mind, don't. Well, one time she said you can post one. I posted it. She said, "Never mind, don't." I'm like, "Yeah, it's out there. I already did it." And she got a lot of course, and guys are very sexually encouraging. There were a lot of great comments, and she started reading the comments. She was like, "Oh, take one like this, take one like this." And it kind of that's how it started.
Yeah.
Every time, I think almost every post that y'all post, I'm laughing.
Our intention was to capture us being us. Sometimes the posts are stupid. I mean, we know that. We look at these like, oh my god, okay, we'll post it, whatever, because that's what happened. So we post the blooper reels. It's just stuff that we're having fun doing.
Yeah,
that's what we don't. Go ahead.
I think the funniest is the snow post. When you,
You go, oh my god. That literally happened off of Reddit. I'm like, because she gets out of the lake and it's 110 in Oklahoma, and she wraps up in towels. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? She's like, it's cold. That wind's blowing. It's cold. I'm at 110. You couldn't be cold. She is.
Yeah.
So this person, we post something on Twitter with it snowing. They're like, Corey ought to do, something. Run outside naked. I'm like, there is no way in hell, is what I replied. And some guy said, I dare her to do a snow angel. I walked into her office and said, somebody on Reddit just dared you to do a snow angel. She was peeling clothes before I could finish reading the sentence. I'm like, what's wrong with you? And she did it, obviously.
I did. That was funny. It was a lot of fun. I like doing those edgy things. So we just have a lot of fun doing it, a lot of laughs. We have so many, pictures that don't turn out, and it just makes it more funny. Yeah. I think the only time I'm really scared is like if kids are around or something like that, then I'm like, no, I can't do it, But I wouldn't say that's the only time. Sometimes I still get a little like, wait, they're watching me, or whatever. But I think at this point it's the challenge of it. It's kind of something exciting to do.
Well, and the OnlyFans example we were talking about, and then how we got to posting these things, we were talking about Tumblr. When we were familiar with Tumblr, it was way back. We started this 2010 when we started posting photos, doing stuff like that. Yahoo bought Tumblr in 2013 when Tumblr for $1.1 billion. Okay, in 2018, Tumblr banned porn. When Yahoo finally sold Tumblr, they sold it for $3 million. They went from 1.1 billion to worth $3 million after banning porn.
Yeah,
it hit there, and that's what started happening to OnlyFans. OnlyFans announced they were going to do away with porn in October, and they had such a massive exodus that they reversed course before they even got to the ban. It would have bankrupted them.
Yeah.
When we were on Tumblr, I just read it when I was looking that up. Actually, Tumblr just announced they're going to start allowing porn back on the site. When we started this, it was on Tumblr, and it was simply we were just having fun. Very, very discreet. Usually not any face shots, or if they were blurred. But we had, this is kind of a funny story back then. Corey forwarded me a contact from our State Farm agent way back in the day in Western Oklahoma, in a small town where we lived. And I opened the contact, and what was her name?
Kinky something. Kinky Corner.
It was like sexy kinky corner on tumblr.com. And I'm like, whoa, I'm going to check this out. And I went to check the link, and she had already pulled it down. But she forgot to take it out of her contact card on her phone. So every time she shared her contact, she kinky corner.
Yeah.
I've probably done that kind of stuff, I'm pretty sure.
So let's talk about y'all call it a throuple. Whose idea was that?
Originally Brad's, I would say. But I think because I know initially years ago I'd be like, heck no. But over the years, I don't know. I think I warmed to the idea and decided, hey, let's try it. If the right person ever comes along or whatever, we can do this. And so, we did recently have a throuple, and I think she clicked well initially with us, and we were kind of surprised, and everything's kind of just seemed to fall into place. So for a while, we really had a lot of fun, and
well, we've been through a few versions of that. We had a mutual couple, or an exclusive couple, for a while, lasted 4 or 5 months, and then we ended up in basically a throuple with the wife. Those two got divorced, and the wife, we ended up with her for another 6 or 8 months or so, and we didn't mean to be in a throuple. Really didn't call it a throuple. And then I guess the first real throuple we did was with Spicy Asian. And while we were that was 2 years ago now. While we were with her, Corey had a boyfriend online that she chatted with several times a day, and they were actually looking to meet when both of those pretty much ended somewhere right around there. Mm-hmm. So it was more of an exploration of people and relationships and ideas, and that's where the idea was born.
Right. And I think after that one, we thought, if we could find somebody that meshed with us better, then that could be a good thing. And so it was definitely, certainly have no regrets there. I explored a lot for me, because I'd never really been bi, so I really kind of jumped off into that world, and that was an adventure that was fun in a lot of ways. I am not, I learned a lot about myself and other women, and so it was an adventure. I would say, for sure.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. I didn't think you were into women.
Yeah,
I didn't think so.
In the past, I was not at all initially, but And I'd had a kind of a few bad experiences with women that were like, "Oh, you just try me and you'll never go back," you know. And I was like, not gonna happen because I really like guys a lot. So
that's what they always say.
Yeah,
it almost never works.
no, it doesn't.
You had a couple that were kind of aggressive, like we had, and this was a very sweet couple. But we were in Denver at the time, and we met a couple. We went to dinner. We ended up taking them back to our condo. We had a condo in the downtown district of Denver called the Glass House. We could oversee downtown. It's a beautiful spot. We're up there hanging out, looking at the scenery, and this girl ends up drinking quite a bit. So she's, feeling pretty happy, but also a little spicy. So Corey tells her, I've never really been with a woman, and this girl liked women. So her and Corey kind of start making out, and Corey always called herself bi-friendly. Like, I like to kiss, I like to play with their boobs, but after it doesn't really turn me on. It's just fun. It's soft. It's well, this girl and her kind of explored each other, and then us guys, the husbands came over, and the girl like pushed both of us away, and like, no, it's me and her. And Corey was like, what?
I don't think that's gonna fly. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it didn't last that long, but
right. Yeah, there were definitely several women like that. I think with Spicy Asian, I was hoping it would kind of turn into more, just to explore it, and that the possibility it can be fun. Part of the appealing idea of the throuple for me was it can be very complex having another man in the situation. Men are very territorial and can be controlling, and that's stressful for me to have to be like, dude, I have a husband, and just control and navigate that situation. So I felt like in this situation with just another female, it's a totally different dynamic. And with this particular lady, we hit it off really well. She definitely was bi, and was very into me, which was the first time I had really experienced that. So it was a whole other side that, but not in a pushy bad way. It was an attractive way. So.
Yeah, you guys actually, that was the first time I traveled some, and you two actually slept together several times. They slept in the same bed, but they played. They had sex, however you say that with ladies. But they slept together several, and Corey really enjoyed it. She would call me after, like, "Oh my God, it was so amazing."
Yeah, we had some really good sex. It was different. That's what I was saying. I almost don't want to call it sex because you're missing the D. But it's a sexual experience, I guess. So. But yeah, I learned that I could enjoy that, but also that definitely I could never be a lesbian. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I had a woman tell me that. She said it's okay to play around with a woman every once in a while, but she's like, I can't be in a relationship with them bitches. He said, hell no. She said, women are too crazy.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I would come home. They would spend a week together. I would come home, and they would both be like back. I'm gonna need a minute. Oh shit! This was more than I expected.
You need some time to relax.
Yeah, it was. And I've never been huge on FMF. Me having two girls.
Yeah.
Because, I don't think women are sexy. I'll take 10 women in a room naked. I think it's wonderful. But when I'm expected to please them both and to not piss one of them off while I'm pleasing, and I'm like, are you okay?
And
are you okay? And I'm this is stressing me out.
That's a lot of work.
It definitely, I think it was a lot of work because we definitely both enjoyed our man and probably wore you out.
Well, and that one was a little specific. Spicy Asian, we were able to all kind of play together and get there together. But with MK, with Miss Kitty, she not kidding. Her average was 45 minutes to an hour of continual stimulation for her to be able to come. And I'm like, I'm worn the fuck out. This is round 2, and this stuff.
You're like, hey, I worked today.
Yeah. And she could just go again. So you'd get her off, and she's been like 10 minutes. She'd start rubbing him like, that ain't how this toy works. This thing don't fuck for 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
You don't have time. Yeah. Right.
When I come home from a trip, and now I'm like, I do not have 3 hours. I just walk through the door. It's 11 o'clock at night. One of you can go, and it can't be you, MK, because that's going to be an hour and a half. So.
We would kind of hand her off
to each other.
You're tired. Your turn. You go.
Hey, I'm not as young as I used to be, man.
No doubt.
We've kind of had a motto in this marriage: anything over 20, 30 minutes is just cardio anyway. I mean, if it takes you that long, something is not plugged in right somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, we thought at first, you have to learn to dance with each other as a sexual partner. And maybe we didn't have that figured out. But as we got to know her and chatted with her, and she kind of told her backstory, she'd always been that way. Even when she's self-stimulating, we bought her the biggest, most powerful thing, like pulled the power down on the whole building when she plugged it in. It would still take her like 40 minutes. Corey used it one time, and it was like, tore her a little bit. She's like, man, that thing made me bleed a little bit.
It's too rough.
It was very powerful.
Yeah, but she was young. Both of these women were young, right? In the 20s,
early 30s. Yeah, early 30s.
Early 30s.
Yeah, they're still young. Yeah,
compared to us, yeah.
Yeah, it took both of us for sure. So I think she'll be happy with a young stud. He can go multiple times.
How did y'all? How'd you know that this ain't gonna work on both occasions? How'd you know? Was there a tipping point or?
Yeah, the first one with Spicy Asian. She had moved to the city. She was actually married and going through a divorce.
Okay.
Which we didn't know all of those details. And then those details came out, and then we didn't realize they actually had already divorced. But she kept saying she was going home, and there were just some things that I think there was a lot of work pressure for her, a lot of work stress, relationship stress, very different cultures, which to me was very fascinating. But in the end, maybe there just weren't enough similarities. She was from China.
Oh yeah.
And very Chinese, very much from China, and very culturally different. And that with her, that was a lot of it, I believe. With MK, it just became apparent that we weren't going to go in the same direction. There weren't similar values. MK had a very addictive personality, like would start something and just couldn't stop doing. And the thing for us, I guess, probably we're very driven people. We work a lot. I mean, we work 10, 12, 14 hours a day, sometimes more. We work our real job, then we come home and work this job, and this job to us really isn't a job, but you have to put the time in or you don't get the results. And MK, something had not happened. We were out on the boat and we smoked some weed one evening, and she never stopped smoking weed again for 4 months. She was stoned. She woke up smoking. She went to bed smoking, and it got to the point that the motivation kept dropping off so much. That was life, was just being high. And Corey and I had that conversation with her. Said, that's just not who we are. Matches nothing that we are. We're very driven people. We run several companies. We do this other fun stuff on the side, and a lot of times you're not here. You're space cadet.
Yeah, very different. And it was something we talked about quite a bit over time, and it was an issue that wasn't going away. So, yeah,
it was unfortunate. It was sad. It was a good situation. Love her still, and right now, hope all the best. And after the initial breakup, or it's been a little while now, it takes a little while for all the feelings to sort themselves out. But I would still chat with her, hang out with her, care for her. Hope she's doing great. Haven't talked to her in probably a month now, but that's how that one ended.
That's good.
And that wasn't our intention. Our intention was, build this thing for a long time. She'd actually moved in, lived with us for 5 or 6 months, and didn't have the intention that it would end, but it ultimately did. The other problem, and it's hard, there's things that Corey and I talked about that are very real. I heard this from a friend of mine, and then we lived it, and now I know it more to be true. But the day anybody shows up in Corey and I's relationship, if you show up today, you're 27 years behind. We've been together 27 years, been married 26. You're 27 years behind. So that doesn't matter the first month when it's all new and you're having all these conversations. But as life goes on and you're around our children or around our other friends or any story we tell, you weren't a part of. You have no idea what we're talking about. And that you don't realize how much that starts to weigh on you when you're one of three and you always feel outside the circle because you can't relate with any of these things that we're talking about. Back when we were broke, back when we had one car and it would break down, and you know, all those years of life that you're behind. I commend people that make the throuple work. For us, I think what we realized was it's probably not a recipe that works for us. We will have other girlfriends. Corey will have other boyfriends, but we expect those to be what they are, a season of a lot of fun, you know, a lot of care, a lot of love for that person, but not expect it to be a lifelong commitment, because I that looks very, very hard for me to make work.
Yeah. So do y'all prefer long-term relationships or short-term? What works best for y'all?
Oh, I think we enjoy both in that we explore and see where things go, and we don't really necessarily have an agenda. We love
long-term relationships that are exclusive.
Well, hold up. I'll ask in a different way. Which relationship do you prefer? I'll say like
that's the truth. It's both. We would love to have a couple or a lady or gentleman that we can explore with for a long period of time, while also getting to do the things that we enjoy doing, which are the adventure, the fun, the pop-up. We were in Key West, and Corey picked up this couple out of a bar. She's never in our life done that. It was the most horrible timing on the planet. I would have beat her. I would have spanked her, but she's never done this before. And here's why. We're at this bar. It's called Willie T's on Duval Street in Key West. And she starts chatting with this guy who's a good-looking guy, and he with his wife, and she starts chatting up, and they've got a friend with them. And while they're chatting, these two Asian girls come over to order a drink, and I pull out 7 words of Mandarin I know, and I'm saying these words to this girl, and we start chatting, and she takes me back to her 4 friends, or her 3 friends, or 4 of them. There's 4 Asian girls here, and they want to exchange numbers and see about meeting up later that evening, and Corey's picking up an old couple at the bar. Like, I have 4 girls. You got a dude and it was a ton of fun. Is the truth. I was that's how this timing worked. Could you pick them up tomorrow night? But we like that. We like that ability to see where the night goes.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that was probably toward the end of the throuple a hard thing, and I don't know that I really had processed until the very end, but that feeling of being locked into something exclusive when we give each other that freedom, but now we have to lock it down for another person seems restrictive. So I think we love long-term relationships in the sense that you can get to know that person, care about them in a much different sense than just like one-offs. But it's also to have somebody that is jealous, very jealous, and restrict you.
That was another part of what we didn't get into. Yeah, we went into this, and we did not ask MK to get into any of this stuff. I mean, she knew who we were, but we no, that's what we do. If you know, that's no big deal. She hadn't had sex with a guy in a decade. Oh shit! She had some issues. Yeah, she had some very traumatic childhood experiences, and was like not into guys. Met one guy one time when she was 20, had sex once, never did it again. And then she met us, and she's wanting to have, she realizing there's a lot of relationship there. She did like guys. She had really liked fucking a lot. But as we got down the road, she's like, hey, I like what you guys do. I think it's hot. She's a very sexual person. So she wanted to start a Twitter, wanted to start an OnlyFans. We helped her. But she knew that she could be somewhat jealous, and we were like, we don't need to do any of this. We said we wanted to build this relationship with you that requires exclusivity. We don't know how long. If it's forever, it's forever. If it's whatever, let's just. Well, she started pushing for, let's play with somebody. Let's play with somebody. Let's play with somebody. And I'd be like, okay, but if you play with somebody, we get to play with people too. She's like, fuck that, we ain't doing that. I went back and forth for like 3 months. Well, then she was finally like, okay, I'm gonna get a Bumble account and whatever that other dating app is. And I'm gonna meet people and I'm gonna set something up and we'll do it, and then we'll just all kind of start, putting some content together and meeting other people. We're like, great. So we went out to a bar a couple of times, and she was very flirty, and we were very flirty, and it was very fun. And we thought, cool, we have that person that's ours in this throuple, but we're also getting to go explore together.
Yeah,
so we ended up.
Girls.
That would be fantastic. So we meet this guy, we take him and we go record some content with him. And when that was over, she was done. Well, she didn't tell us that, but she started, anytime we talk, who are you talking to? Why are you talking to them? Getting very jealous of anybody of the opposite sex. And then she pretty much said, I want exclusive. I'm like, oh, hell no. You opened Pandora's box. I asked you not to do this. There's no chance in hell you come into this relationship where we are open. You open it up and then slam the door on us. That's not going to go well.
Because we had told her multiple times when she brought it up initially, we're like, no, I don't think you know what you're talking about. Let's take some real time to think about this. It's going to take some time to be there, to build the relationship to a point where, you can trust each other and feel comfortable in this kind of thing. And this is brand new. Let's just take our time. And yeah, she kept bringing it up. Eventually we were like, okay.
And she said she was very self-aware enough to go, I realize I did this. I realize you guys asked me not to. I realize I did it. I realize I broke it. And I don't know what to do about it, but I'm super jealous and I can't stand the thought of you guys with anybody. And I'm like, that's a problem.
Yeah, because I've met quite a few jealousy couples. And it's a weird thing.
And jealousy's real. Jealousy happens. Corey and I we've been married 27 years. We've had sex with a bunch of people. We can still get jealous of each other. Yeah. Usually for us, jealousy is you did something I didn't expect you to do. Mm-hmm. You surprised me.
That's good. That's a good one. So how do you guys handle that? Because, y'all might say, hey, we're going to meet this man or this couple, and maybe, of course, y'all have boundaries. Y'all have things that y'all don't do or probably you would do. But when you meet this one person, they might have crossed the boundaries, whether they knew it or didn't know it. So how do y'all handle situations like that? It happens.
Yeah, it does. Mm-hmm. Well, we've learned after some massive wars, we talk a lot better about it now, about, hey, what we've learned is to say a keyword or a catchword that we know what the other one's saying, like, hey, I didn't expect that. What I'm telling you is I'm fucking livid on the inside, but I don't want to blow this up into a fight, so I'm trying to explain to you, I did not expect that. And if your reaction is, babe, I'm sorry, we can talk about it, we work right through it. If the reaction is, fuck you, now we're at war.
And we've done both those. Yeah, for
Most
sure.
Most of the time, it's, go ahead.
Early on, I don't think we knew how to communicate to each other without, using words like that, like you surprised me or whatever. It's just like, well, just assuming the worst, I guess. How did you do that with her and you didn't do it with me? And, just, all those little things that can be surprising. And we started to learn, okay, once the other one was in that exact same position on the other side, then you go, oh, that's how that happens. It's not because I don't love you. It's because.
And early on, it was simple things. Like the first time I really got in trouble from Corey, she was like, you called her babe. I'm like, yeah. She's like, you call me babe. I'm like, honey, I had sex with a new person, but I did not learn a whole nother language. I still only know how to say the things I know how to say. Sorry I called her babe, but What?
You automatically do that though.
Because hey Cheryl, I don't know what to say. What?
But that's my word, my special word. And yeah, I've definitely been there where you feel like you're losing that specialness. I guess that's not really a word, but
yeah, I can see that.
And then after a time, you realize that those are not the things that make you special to that person. And those are just their way of expressing those things, because that's what they do. It's not that that you're degraded in any way in your value. So
We had to have that conversation. It's not like I meet a new person and now I have a whole different behavior system because it's a new person. I'm still me. I'm the common denominator, and we had to both go through that because I was the same way. And sometimes I would see her with a guy and I'd be like, "You tell me no to that, but you did that with him," and she's like, "Well, that's just where it went." And it was, and it felt good. And I was like, "But you told me no."
I'm guilty for that. For me, it's all about the person and the relationship. That's what it's really all about.
Yeah.
That's what it really comes down to. Because now here's another thing. There's like a kind of like a double standard when it comes to that, because a man will let a woman slide with certain things. He'll be like, "Oh, it's okay, I didn't know it was gonna happen. I didn't know she was gonna do that, but it's okay, and we won't make a big deal about it, right?" But if it happens with a woman, if a man does the same thing with a woman, then it becomes like, "Hey, wait, I need to talk to you."
Yeah.
and usually not in such nice words.
Yeah.
We definitely have both sides of that.
The other thing that happens with the double standard a lot is, and I am not as bad about this. I'm not much of a rule guy. Corey has made a lot of rules, and then she would break them. And you want to talk about pissing me off? You tell me I can't do something, and then I watch you do something when I did not do it because you told me we're not doing that, and then you did that kind of thing. And it took us a couple of years to fight through this. But one of the things was Corey had a huge rule: no kissing. No kissing. That's intimate. No kissing. I'm like, his dick was in your mouth, and you fucked him, but you guys can't touch lips. And she's like, no kissing. Okay. So we're with this couple, and I look over, and she and him are making out, and I'm like, "Oh, no kissing, bitch. Is that what you said?" And we get done, and we have this massive fight. And we had fights like this for about 2 years until we finally understood. Because the roles reversed a couple of years later, where I said we're not going to do something, and I did it, and you were mad, and you were pissed at me, and I was like, I've been on the other side. And we realized what's going on is a trust thing for Corey. Corey trusts that her kissing that guy did not mean she loved him and she was going to leave me for him, and she did not trust that girl kissing me didn't mean that.
Yeah.
What if you fall in love with her and run away and leave me?
And you know what? I didn't know. Somebody told me this probably 4 or 5 years ago. Somebody said, "Man, there's people that actually leave their husbands or leave their wives to be with the other couple they meet." I said, "Why the hell?" I said, "I never even thought about doing no shit like that."
That don't make no sense to me. So
that's why a lot of people are that's where the jealousy comes from. A lot of it, because people have heard that, hey, I don't. No kissing, and because I'm like,
well, we've been in this a long time now, 13 years, 14 years, and we have seen a lot of people come in this for the wrong reasons, and that's what we've learned to look for. We've had friends get into this thinking, this was how they were going to save their marriage. Are you out of your fucking mind?
No.
That's got to go ahead and break it in half.
You guys can't get along with just the two of you. You're going to introduce extra wiener and vagina, and you think you're going to fix anything? You're just multiplying errors. And it ends up, that's what we learned. There's some catchwords we look for. We actually had a friend of ours tell us, we got into this because it's an activity we could do together. You motherfuckers are stupid. No. And we had people say, think lots of things like that. Like we weren't really connecting, so we thought if we connect with other people, it would help us get our spark back.
No.
Oh, you gonna get a spark?
All those people are divorced now.
And the catchword, we're never jealous. We've never been jealous of you. I'm like, you guys do not know each other, or you're both pathological liars if y'all never been jealous of
or
each
you
other.
just don't care about one another at all.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. They just don't care. They lost that connection years ago.
Yeah. That is one of those things when we hear, we kind of run. We're like,
we hope you do fight. I hope I can walk up to you as a man and go, man, she pissed me off. I'm like, Knuckles, I got you. I know. Yeah, I got it. Same thing. That's normal. I know you love each other now. You're going to work,
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, it's like this is one of the reasons why I prefer having a relationship with the same person or the same couple long term, because there's so many people that come in for the wrong reasons. I say, oh my god, I don't want to go through that.
I don't need to drama.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed that just being quote vanilla. This is just my experience. Just meeting people is way easier than meeting someone that's in the lifestyle. That's just been my experience.
I think I know what you're saying. When you meet, that's for years we've told people we're not lifestyle people. I mean, we fuck other people. We explore, but we don't consider ourselves lifestyle. People get, and the lifestyle people, we've had friends who are like, you guys shouldn't say that. Just, you guys suck. And I'm like, but the problem is we show up to your party and everybody expects to get the fuck. And when you say hi and you hug them, you're like, wait, were they hugging me because we're friends or because they were trying to squeeze my titties? What were we doing? Yeah, and vanilla people, you don't worry about that. You just walk up and hug them and go, hey, how you doing? Good. What about you? So I get that.
I didn't even know there were such things as a lifestyle until about 2015. I was in the military at the time when people were just living their life. It wasn't, they didn't give it a name. They said, hey, I'm going to be in Iraq for a year and a half.
Yeah.
Look out for my family. All right, cool, whatever, But they didn't give it a name. They didn't say, hey, she's a hot wife or whatever. I didn't. It's weird.
There's a lot to it now, for sure.
Yeah. And there wasn't, at least to my knowledge, there wasn't no parties back then. If they were, I didn't know anything about it.
I think they've been going on a long time, but now it's more popular because the internet is
very under the radar. This thing really came out and uncorked probably in 2015 or 16 when this got really popular. Like when we started in 2010, we were 32, 3, somewhere right in there. We were young pups by a long way. We were like, when we first got in this, we were some of the youngest people in it. And on all the sites, there were no apps. There were sites like C4P and SDC, and we get on there and we're like, gosh, damn, that's going to be us in 20 years. And it was very much
ads in the newspaper, how they found each other.
Well, but after 2015, all these apps started coming back. Now we get on like, that person cannot be 18. Get them off my phone. That's disgusting. And seriously, we get probably 5 messages a week. We be like, hey, we're 18 and we want to play with people. And we're like, fuck that. No. Add another decade to you, we'll chat with you. But 18, 19, 20, 21, hell no.
Yeah.
Back in the day, they used to have a lot of Yahoo groups.
Yeah, that's probably. I believe
it. Yep.
You were saying it's a lot harder for people that, it's easier to be vanilla and find people than the LS. I think that's from the single people that we know that are in the LS. I think that's a big struggle because you've just narrowed your percentage by so much.
Although it's popular, it's not the majority of people.
It's true. Even if half the people really wish they were doing it, they're not going to say they're doing it. Or what I mean?
Here's the funny thing to me. I travel a lot, obviously. So I sit on bars and I talk to whoever's beside me, and I talk to anybody, and I have a great time. And most people are not in a lifestyle. But these people who are single, might be fucking 6 or 8 different people a month. They just go out, date, hit up, hook up.
Yeah.
How is that not a lifestyle? If I fuck 8 people, I'm fucked up. But you fucking 8 people single, you call that vanilla? I'm like, that is.
That ain't vanilla. No.
That is at least Neapolitan. That's probably a lot more.
Yeah, that ain't vanilla. That's some other shit.
but that's very popular. It's popular or common, I guess, to people. Oh, I'm not allowed. I would never. But you've had 5 sexual partners in the last 3 weeks. Yeah, but we just went on a date. We just hit it off, so we knocked boots, and then we were done. I'm like, that's what we do. We just tell you that's what we do.
Yeah. We go home with our partner.
Yeah. So hey, man, I can talk to you guys all night, but I respect y'all time and everything. So if people wanted to find y'all, where would they go to?
Yep, Twitter. If you go to Twitter, just about anywhere, and type in BC Flyers 2016, you're going to find our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You're also probably going to pull up our Fansly, OnlyFans. It's all the same thing, BC Flyers 2016. The only 2 that are different are going to be Hot Wife and OK. We have Hot Wife and OK 2010. That's the year we started. That was our original handle on Tumblr, was Hot Wife and OK. And we got banned from Reddit, so we couldn't use BC Flyers 2016. So we're Hot Wife and OK there and on Pornhub.
There you have it. Like, share this episode. Tell me what you think below. Until next time, we're out. Peace. If you like this video, share this video. And if you want to support my channel, click the thanks tab and leave me a donation. 2, 5, 10.